On today's episode, don't call me chef. I bring this up because of the popularity of the bear. I am a big fan. I find it to be the closest depiction to the restaurant industry that I know. Well, besides Stan, the tchotchkes manager from Office Space.
People can get a cheeseburger anywhere, okay? They come to tchotchkes for the atmosphere and the attitude.
Brilliant. I've heard that stuff all my life. But seriously, I love the bear. I think it's a love letter to our industry. Not to mention it takes place in Chicago, a place where I've worked in restaurants for over 20 years. Not to dox myself, but I can almost see Mr. Beef from my house, the plates where they do the establishing outside shots for the show. The show hits for me. The scene in season 1 with all the orders piling up in Expo from the delivery platform, I could feel that because I know what those glitches are like. When the reservation platform overbooks the room 3 times over. When the Expo printer goes down and all your tickets go in the weeds. I've seen it more times I care to admit, and watching it on the bear just brought me back to those moments. You might have noticed that on the show, everyone calls everyone chef in the kitchen. The show also has front of the house being called chef. I'm not saying that this is inaccurate. There are quite a few well-established kitchens that do this, some of the best chefs in the world. The term chef is often used to acknowledge that somebody understands the instruction. This often happens in kitchens where Expo is calling to the stations for orders. The usage of this on the show is constant, as well as in season 3 during pre-shift when the servers acknowledge that they understood the evening's menu. Or when Natalie and Computer have a mutual understanding about the future of Chef Marcus. The majority of restaurants I've worked in use the term herd for this instead of chef. But that usage is not completely foreign to me. The second usage is when somebody is being referred to as chef, as in when you walk up to Expo and you say, "Chef, may I call?" At which point you stand and wait to be acknowledged by the chef on Expo. This is chef being referred to as a person. However, on the bear, there are multiple examples of front of the house staff being called chef as well. The one that sticks out the most is season 2's Forks, where backwaiter Garrett immediately establishes that both he and Richie will be called chef. But as a lifelong restaurant manager, I don't want to be called chef. And every time that it's ever happened to me, I always correct people kindly and say, I don't deserve that title. I get the logic of why some restaurants include yes chef for everyone. With a natural division between front of the house and back of the house, I believe that it's meant to create unity, and I'm all for unity. I've worked to break down barriers between the front of the house and back of the house in nearly every restaurant I've ever worked in. And that's because there is a barrier between front of the house and back of the house in nearly every restaurant. Line cooks think that servers work in an easier environment, not a hot, sweaty kitchen, and that they make way more money, both of which are true. Servers think that their job is harder. They have to work with the guest. Any errors, any delays from the kitchen affect them and what they can earn. That's also true. So if the chef moniker is made to help reduce that tension, I understand the idea. However, there's a fundamental difference. I firmly believe that being given the right mentor and training, anyone can be made into a great restaurant manager, assuming that they show up with strong work ethic, drive, and compassion. It can be trained. On the other hand, truly great chefs are born. It's an art form, no different than painters or sculptors. It's about palate and an eye and creativity. I envy chefs because I was not born with that. And for those that do, and those in the kitchen that help to create that vision and that creativity, they deserve the title of chef. Although I do love arguing this with my chef friends, working in a kitchen is harder than working the floor. So yeah, please don't call me chef. And here's hoping that they make a spin-off of the bear that focuses more on the front of the house. They can call it Cousin Richie. And it'll be about how to squeeze 7 people into a booth and what to do when people show up 15 minutes late for their reservations. I don't know if anyone will watch it, but I sure would. Alright, it's been a minute since I've posted some videos. Admittedly, I've been working with several clients. If you're keeping up with me, you know that my company was acquired by 50/50 Consulting, a fantastic restaurant group here in Chicago. If you are interested in talking to us about your restaurant or basically any industry to where you want to build some hospitality, here is the information below. I'll also post the link, and I wouldn't be me if I didn't plug my book, The Surprise Restaurant Manager, the how-to guide for those people who find themselves in the restaurant industry with zero training. Check it out on Audible or in book form where all great books are sold. I truly appreciate you, and I'll look forward to season 4 of The Bear.